Why do I have a big crosshair? It's been several years of playing the game, yet there's always that one player every 3 or 4 matches that call me out for having one. And worst of all,
Uy, yung
they're
dalawang
throwing the
donate
game just for
natin.
me having it.
Gising.
Now this isn't a rant video, but it's more of an informational video of why I have set my crosshair to be intentionally big, and why it serves a good purpose for me. The important part is that I don't go about ruining everyone else's day just because their crosshair looks different. TLDR, if you're happy with your crosshair, then that's awesome, because it's your crosshair. You can personalize it however you want. So, disclaimer, if you're one of the players who judges without understanding the reason behind anything, feel free to click away as this video is clearly not meant for you. If you're sticking around, that's great. I'll teach you my experience and the different use cases of having a big crosshair. Let's go with the first one, visibility. Your crosshair keeps the same size even on a larger screen resolution. Hence, the higher screen resolution you have, the harder it is to see your crosshair since the scale is not uniform. I have reported this issue to Valorant twice, roughly 2 years ago, but up until now, there's still no setting for us to scale the crosshair. Hence, I have to resort to lowering my screen resolution just so I can see my tiny crosshair. Of course, this defeats the purpose of getting a high resolution screen in the first place. So, if you are a Riot developer or know a Riot developer, do share this video with them with the timestamp of the problem so we can get this crosshair scaling issue fixed. Secondly, I like my crosshair regardless of any conditions. Whether I'm blinded, concussed, decayed, or whatever status effect, I want to know where my crosshair is at. Especially in combat where I'm under a lot of stress or pressure, looking where my crosshair is at should not be one of my problems. In certain situations, yes, I miss even with a big crosshair, but that can be attributed to me forgetting to let go of my movement key, or it could be I am intentionally moving away from something or someone, but was eventually gunned down, or it could be that I'm just having a bad day. All guns have a maximum recoil on the Y-axis, whether you're moving, crouching, or standing still. Knowing where its maximum Y recoil height is integral for me to know where to start moving my sprays left or right or downwards. From what I've observed, my engagements in short to medium ranges conclude that the max height of my crosshair is exactly the point where the gun's Y-axis recoil stops. So on occasions where I need to spray, I just line up the highest point of my crosshair line and get the headshot I need. Also, if you haven't noticed, Valorant nerfed this by fading the top part of your crosshair as you spray. Now, I know what you might be thinking, just click heads or do burst fire. Like every Valorant player who actually studied gun mechanics, discussed gun discipline and movement techniques, there are certain situations where clicking heads or burst fire is not favorable. This has been covered by many YouTubers ranging from Immortal to Radiant. Even the mighty Banana Wuhujin has even said so. I will discuss when to do each one, and so do feel free to check out these following guides. Second, Playstyle. I'm a Viper main. I do lineups whenever the situation calls for a lineup. Using a little bit of physics and geometry, my crosshair is the perfect size to do calculated or rushed lineups. Remember Zello Bra's video regarding SOVA lineup calculation? Jin Z led the Viper main methodically calculated the lineup trajectory for the smoke orb and snake bites, both jumping and standing. Although I prefer the standing one because it's the only thing I can consistently shoot or throw and end up where it needs to be. Notably, the Viper's utility lineups can span across different lineup agents as well. This goes with Killjoy's Nanoswarms, SOVA Darts, KO Knife, and Fade-Eye. Of course, minor adjustments to the calculation must be made, but with my crosshair, it's not as necessary for me to remember which triangle, leaf, line, box, or whatever to throw that utility. Now, as a Viper main, I never save. My usual eco consists of a stinger and all of my utilities. This is because my entire kit provides vulnerability to my enemies upon touching the smoke, snakebite, or wall. So the increased fire rate that my stinger provides increases my odds in killing the enemy who may or may not have a better aim at me. Using my crosshair, we can calculate the first 3 to 5 bullets of the stinger to be a guaranteed chest to headshot level. Of course, combined with any utility that Viper has, this is a guaranteed kill. If they don't die from it due to range, movement error, gun inaccuracy, or flinching inaccuracy, the next 5 to 10 shots of the stinger will be aimed towards the upper body. Now, if they don't die due to me panicking, the remaining 10 bullets will give me a last chance to kill them before I die. Like all players, you should memorize your gun's recoil pattern and use it to your advantage. I know some backseaters in my games who have this urge to belittle, scold, or even complain that I should sell my stinger, which by the way is an integral part of how I play Viper. This type of playstyle is something I've developed through trial and error, and it works. My eco win conversion rate is around 60%. Yes, I lose 40% of my eco rounds, but the fact that I was able to win that round on an eco gives my team another round closer to victory. Also, if I lose less money compared to if I were to buy a Vandal. This of course can be used to buy 2 Vandals or maybe an operator that our duelist needs on the next round. My main gun is a stinger, especially on eco rounds. And when I buy a stinger, I'm not on a half buy, it's always a full buy. If you prefer to save up for a Vandal, I respect your opinion on the playstyle that works for you, but at the end of the day, I think playstyle is personalized to the player who's playing and will always be different for each player you come across. Bigger crosshair means bigger everything. The bigger crosshair for me makes me feel comfortable because my large crosshair is bigger than my enemies. This is especially the case when they are on the ground. It's also a guide for me to know the following: how big of a threat an enemy is, and how far away they are. These 2 guidelines are some of the items on my invisible checklist that's always on the top of my head whenever I'm engaging single or multiple threats. This also gives me the confidence I need to push forward on a bad day. At the end of the day, different crosshairs serve different purposes. Others are for entertainment, others are for lineups, others are for trolling, or others are simply personalized to the player who is playing. For me, there is no best crosshair. Each crosshair is unique, and the same goes to each player out there. Each player has their own playstyle. Some sages prefer to be in the front line, doing those wild walls that delete you from an off angle. Some sages prefer to follow their smurfing jet, while some sages prefer to be normal. And that's all okay. What matters is you get to play the game and perform in it.